Hello, and thank you for taking the time to join us for the Youth Passing System webinar series, where we continue our mission of empowering youth coaches to spread the ball around and score more points with an effective passing game. So after years of being asked, which passing concept should I run for teams, anywhere from high school on down, we created a streamlined plug-and-play passing system for busy coaches to just plug into their run game. Our program specifically improves your quarterback's decision-making, ensuring your team plays confidently on game day, relying on muscle memory to light up that scoreboard. My name is Matt Lasker, and alongside the eternal one, fake Coach Leach, together we will be your guides through this free webinar series. So after spending a few hours with eternal Coach Leach and I in completing this webinar series, you will have a pre-snap to the next snap, repeatable process your quarterbacks will step through on every single play. If you don't have this, it is a must, because without a quarterback who understands what's going on, you don't have a chance. You will have pre-made or custom engaging lesson plans your athletes will take home and play on their phones outside of the pressure of practice, which is huge for truly understanding the why. And lastly, you will have mastered your quarterback room, as our streamlined passing game ensures you and your quarterback can figure out issues on the fly, because we boiled it down to a few key points.
Welcome in. It's great to be with you as always, Coach. Folks cannot stop pinging me and saying how much they love you being part of this series. How does it feel to be so loved in our coaching community?
Spike Dykes, one time, he says, as head coach, your popularity goes down 10% each year. He says, I've been here 13 years. You do the math.
No doubt, Coach, no doubt. So anyway, let's kick off Pass Pro Day with some O-line, D-line questions. In honor of the big guys, I know that we both value the O-line and D-line. We actually were O-line coaches ourselves, and we both know how important that O-line coach hire is. So general thoughts on trench warfare?
I mean, the reason they have footballs is because of the big guys. And you know, when O-line, D-line go one-on-one and, you know, just get incredibly violent. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, you get to see those guys just go to war, you know, and it's got all the things that football entails. There's shouting, there's blood, there's boogers, there's a whole thing. I mean, and there's spitting, there's fighting, there's ripped jerseys, there's somebody grabbing somebody's throat. I mean, it's why you have football.
100%, Coach. As much as we love the art of passing and the athleticism that the skill guys have, without the O-line and D-line, you will not find success at any level. You know, there's a reason why you see these NFL teams stockpiling O-line and D-line for three plus years when they're in that rebuilding mode. You just need that foundation, and without it, it doesn't really matter if you have great receivers and quarterbacks.
All right, so we are on to pass protection, and I know a lot of you all that maybe don't run spread fully at this point have a lot of questions about Pass Pro. So we're going to keep this real simple. I've iterated on my Pass Pro over the years, depending on the age groups, depending on what needed to be handled, depending on how people deal with our passing offenses. And this is the most straightforward, easy way to implement it at every age level, so you can deal with everyone's favorite response to a spread team, send the house.
And so as you can see, we're just going to start off in open. Our open formation, pretty standard for a lot of you air raid coaches. We use it as our base formation, essentially. All right. And where I live, we see a lot of 5-3 defenses. So I'm just going to use 5-3. We'll show some 4-4, but, you know, I'll show you that this essentially is so simple that it really doesn't matter. As long as your running backs really understand and quarterbacks really understand what the point is, we've made it as simple as possible. And you're going to see some differences. I did a video about O-line play and Pass Pro about a year ago. This is even a little different than that. I wanted to strip it down even easier instead of using kind of a number system that we had been using in the past, which was okay. There's a lot of different ways you can do Pass Pro. And, you know, the most important thing, coaches, is you need to be able to teach what you know in a way where they get it. So no matter what it is, as long as the kids can understand it and comprehend it under pressure in a live game, then it really doesn't matter the scheme. So I found over my evolution as a coach, this seems to be the most consistent way that my players can understand it, and it leaves a lot less confusion on the field. Okay. So the big rules. Okay. We want big players blocking big players. So big on big is always just the standard. Okay, so if there are 5 down linemen and I have 5 offensive linemen, it's essentially one-on-one across the board. And that's kind of how we look at it from week to week, because it's pretty much what we will always see. Okay. Now, let's just say that it's 5-on-5 up front. And now we have our running back to one side or another. Okay. And as you can see on the screen, this is a 3-man linebacker core. And so it's just as simple as the running back, whatever side he's on, he's going to give, whatever your left call on this. In this example, he's on the left side of the quarterback. So he's going to say left. We call it lucky, but you can say whatever you want, or he could literally just say left to let the lineman know he's on the left side and the quarterback know he's on the left side. And in this scenario where there's 3 linebackers and 1 middle linebacker in particular, we are always looking inside to out on linebackers. And so let's just say we called Y cross in this situation. Okay. As long as the F is not in the actual pass route, like stick or fade out in 2x2 or corner, we can rely on him to stay in. And sometimes even with those plays, we want him to stay in because we know, the snag is going to be open against a certain look on defense. But in general, his job is to look Mike to outside linebacker on his side. And this side, we're just going to call him Will, but it doesn't really matter if it's Mike, Sam, or Will. In youth football, a lot of times they don't flip Will and Sam. So let's just call it outside linebacker. But he is responsible for Mike to Will in this situation, from middle linebacker to outside linebacker. Okay, so we teach them, and we have a drill. It's just like instead of inside run, tackle to tackle, we have a drill that we do on a very regular basis, if not every day, that's inside pass, we call it. And so we'll just line up the box essentially with the running backs and the linebackers, and I'll stand back behind here, behind the quarterback, and point at the linebacker or linebackers that I want to come up. You come this way, or you come around this gap or this gap. And I tell the linebackers where to fire while the running back and quarterbacks can't see me, and they come through. So we rep this all the time. And so the running back, as he kind of skips, he'll do a skip to his left, checking the middle linebacker, and then skip again to the left, checking the outside linebacker. Either one of those comes, you got to go get him. He runs up and meets him. Okay. Obviously, the middle linebacker is the first check, and Will is the second check. And if neither comes, it's check, release. And then he's out on his swing or his shoot or whatever it is that we have him in. So we call it check, release, or check, release, however you want to say it to your running backs. But his responsibility is essentially inside, outside, and then release. Pretty simple. One, you can see right here, 1 to 2. But we're not numbering the linebackers and linemen. We don't need to do all that. It's pretty simple. Now you say, what about this? What about Sam, or the outside linebacker on the Y side?
All right, so before we dive in, just want to make sure everyone knows what comes with the youth passing system. Number 1, of course, in terms of playbooks, practice and install plans, specific position coaches, plans, and much more. We're going to give you everything from A to Z that you need to implement and install this offense on your own with these free webinar videos. Then we will take it to the next level and send home engaging lesson plans on your players' phones so they become experts at both the youth passing system, pre-snap to the next snap process, and experts at moving through the progressions of the youth passing system concepts, because they will step through that process on every single snap at your practice. Then they will step through the process through endless virtual reps on their phones. So when game day comes, they will be operating off muscle memory, playing fast, and making great decisions every single time.
Well, that's where the quarterback comes into play, because at some point they may just send more than we have. Okay. And the quarterback knows that anybody that the F doesn't pick up, it's his responsibility. So if the Mike comes and the Sam out here, the outside linebacker to the Y side comes, the quarterback knows this is his responsibility. If both Mike and Will come, the quarterback knows the outside linebacker that's unblocked is his responsibility. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Now, what does that mean? The quarterback has him, or quarterback That's your responsibility. That means you've got to get rid of the ball. So we need to understand that as a coaching staff, what's going on to call plays that gets the ball out. I mean, for instance, right now, this H is uncovered, right? It seems insane for people to do this against us, but they do. This H is uncovered. So what? We can run a bubble screen. We can run stick real quick over here. We can run fade out. Well, put them on an out where it's a one-step quarterback drop and get the ball out. So, you know, if this is the look they're coming with, you can do a lot with these slot receivers. Y as well on this side, speed out, shoot, whatever, stick, whatever you want to do. But for blocking purposes, this is who has who. Okay. Now, next look we'll talk about is the same thing, right? It's the same thing. So now these guys scoot this linebacker out on the Y, and now there's only 2 linebackers to worry about. Same rules. It's big on big. It's always going to be the case for me now. And then we just have the running back. For the running back, the linebacker on his side, we don't cross over the center to the other side. Only if they're on the center or on their side is that F responsible for them. Okay, so on this, he's going to say left, left. The line and the quarterback are going to know he's to the left. So that means if this linebacker ahead of him comes, he skips once, sees the linebacker, goes attack. If he comes, if not, he skips once and then releases into his route. The quarterback is responsible for this linebacker. Okay. Now, as you get better, if this guy is the one that seems to be walking up in the pre-snap, or he's the one that's coming, the quarterback, we give him the latitude to put the F on his right side so he has a better angle and can point at him and say F, that's the Ringo, or that's the guy you got. I mean, we don't even care if they make it obvious. We want to make sure that F knows who he has and everybody else knows that he's going to get picked up. Okay. So again, pretty simple. It's just big on big. And the F has the linebacker to his side in a 5-2 look or 5-3, where they have the outside linebacker out in the slot. Okay. Let's just look at it in a 4-4 look, because, you know, we're starting to see this a little bit more, but not too much, but, you know, it's pretty much the same. Okay. We just want to make it simple. Okay. So 4 down linemen, we have big on big there, big on big there. On this scenario, the running back will say right, right. And again, now there's 2 linebackers on his side and he has to go inside to outside. Now, there's realistically, these outside linebackers probably are in a 4-4 to be out, or at least splitting the difference as overhang defenders on the slots. So those outside linebackers might not even be in the box, but either way, he still has that responsibility. So F will call right, right. He will look Mike, that M is Mike, to Sam, SM. Even if he's outside the box, he'll be looking for a blitzer coming outside maybe, and then he'll release. So check, check, release. Okay. Check, check, release, which means in a 4-man front, that right call sends this center looking to his left. Okay. So center will be looking for this plug linebacker, the other middle linebacker, as we call him. And the quarterback's responsibility is this will. Okay. So we have to understand that as a quarterback. But again, guys, if they are in this defense, we can do a lot of really amazing things with the slots, or just run combination routes so the outside guys can come in and the slots can go out and he has options, but it needs to be quick. So as you guys know, a lot of the answers for passing teams in youth football is to just bring the house, which is great. If you want to bring the house, we have plays for that. And most of us in middle school and youth are running quick game anyway. So the ball's coming out fast. So that's a great thing if they bring the house. Now, obviously your linemen need to be calm and your backs need to be calm and everyone, the quarterback needs to be calm, because it's not as easy as I'm making it sound, but that's why you need to do these drills in practice and really put the pressure on the quarterbacks in practice so they get comfortable in the pocket. It's not natural. We have great quarterbacks here where I coach, but it's hard initially for them to get comfortable in the pocket, even if they're the best 7-on-7 player around or the best quarterback around. It's just not an easy thing for a young kid to get used to. So you really need to do these drills in practice and make it messy around him so they can feel comfortable in a game standing in the pressure. Okay. Now, that's a lot of people coming. Okay. So if you just cannot handle, or your kids, more importantly, cannot handle all the pressure that's coming, we can get into our 2-back set. Okay. So this is obviously green. And with green and blue, we have 2-backs, and we can keep them all in. We can go max protect with 7. Okay. And that still gives us our combination routes out here. We can still run a corner snag combination. We can still run a smash combination. We can still run a fade out combination, because these linebackers, they're tucked in. So this Y can run outs and this guy can run goes or slants. And there's not much that they can cover from way in here. So again, it's not the worst thing to have max protection. Definitely is something that we don't shy away from. I actually love our 2-back set right now. It's like I'm having so much more fun with it than my first year. So you can see we can take care of this, right? So obviously, that's 8 people and we have 7, so they will still have one more than us. So the quarterback is responsible for the 8th guy. But again, if we keep seeing them bring the house like this, we're going to call something quick. We're going to call to get the ball outside. We're going to maybe even a quick pitch to the running backs left and right, however you want to do it, guys. But, the main point is I don't want you guys to freak out because they're bringing the house and just abandon ship. We need to stay calm, let the kids get used to it, and you will find success if you can master this. Their response of sending the house whenever they get nervous or other teams want to just see if you can handle it. If you can handle that pressure, guys, there's big plays on the other side of that chaos if you can stand in there. Okay.
And then on the way out the door, Coach, real quick, today's last question comes from Jason Hoffman in Sacramento, California. Coach Jason says he loves the pirate analogy that you have always leaned on, and wants to hear more about the swinging the sword phrase and where that came from and how do you use it with your kid.
This pirate sword replica, and talked about, how are you going to swing your sword? Are you going to swing it all out of control where you're open and maybe get a few people and they get you? Or are you going to swing it like this? Or are you going to practice precisely and swing it like that? And I said, they sharpen their swords, they polish their swords. Even the most derelict of pirates would do that, just like you do in the weight room with your body. Your body's your sword.
Absolutely. I've definitely adopted that, but I love swing your sword. It's a great analogy.
All right. So hopefully that makes sense. With the pass blocking, obviously we want you to have any questions about it, put the comments below or just message me directly, or more importantly, go to playerbook.com, jump into our coaches community full of youth passing system coaches. I'll be in there as well, so you can ask questions and we could all help each other win. And being able to block, especially when everyone's just sitting in the house, as their first reaction to seeing a passing team at your level in your league, this is important. And it can be done. And like I said, there's big plays behind all this pressure. So stay in there, figure out ways we can make it work, but be ready to score some point. And this is a huge part of it. All right. So appreciate it. On the next one, we'll get into communicating plays, whether we're using our wristband, hand signals. We do a combination of both. I have the templates and everything ready for you. So join us on the next one, coaches, and keep spreading the word. Appreciate it.
All right, so before we dive in, just want to make sure everyone knows what comes with the youth passing system. Number one, of course, in terms of playbooks, practice and install plans, specific position coaches, plans, and much more, we're going to give you everything from A to Z that you need to implement and install this offense on your own with these free webinar videos. Then we will take it to the next level and send home engaging lesson plans on your players' phones so they become experts at both the youth passing system pre-snap to the next snap process and experts at moving through the progressions of the youth passing system concepts. Because they will step through that process on every single snap at your practice. Then they will step through the process through endless virtual reps on their phones. So when game day comes, they will be operating off muscle memory, playing fast, and making great decisions every single time.